you making the time to be here today. So with that, I'm sorry, okay, great. All right, I can go ahead and start? Great. Time is 3:07. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting of the State Allocation Board to order. And before we move into our business, let me just read some of the housekeeping items. This meeting is being held in person at the East End Complex Auditorium at 1500 Capitol Avenue in Sacramento, California, 95814, as well as from several additional locations noted in the meeting agenda notice for anyone that would like to provide public comment in person. This meeting is also being conducted by way of Zoom meeting for members of the public that would like to participate remotely. In order for this meeting to run efficiently for those participating remotely, please note the following guidelines. All attendees will be muted during the meeting. If any member of the public would like to make a comment, please use the raise hand feature in the Zoom meeting interface. I will call your name at the appropriate time, and OPSC staff will request to unmute you. If you're calling into the meeting and not using a computer or the Zoom application on a mobile device, you will be unable to provide public comment at this time. The board will, just to note, the board will also not be meeting in closed session today. And with that, Ms. Jones, will you please call the roll, noting any members joining us from a remote location?
Certainly. Senator Laird? Senator Perez?
Here.
And that is a teleconference virtual participation. Senator Choi?
Here.
And that is also a teleconference virtual participation. Assemblymember Murasucci? Assemblymember Davies? Assemblymember Quirk Silva? Juan Morales?
Here.
Jeremy Smith?
Here.
Ana Lasso?
Here.
Michelle Peralt?
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. We're going to go ahead and move right now on to our next item, which is the minutes for the August 19th, 2025 meeting. Are there any comments or questions from board members on the minutes? Seeing none, are there any public comments on the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
Make a motion.
Motion by Senator Choi, seconded by Mr. Smith. If we please have a roll call.
Yes, Senator Perez.
Aye.
Perez, aye. Senator Choi.
Aye.
Choi, aye. Juan Morales. Aye. Morales, aye. Jeremy Smith.
Aye.
Smith, aye. Ana Lasso.
Aye.
Lasso, aye. Michelle Peralt.
Aye.
Peralt, aye. And that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now go ahead and move on to the executive officer statement. Ms. Kirk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to update the board and the public on a couple of upcoming deadlines. The Charter School Facilities Program application filing round for $600 million authorized by Proposition 2 will conclude on October 30th, 2025. We have the next priority funding filing round opening on November 12th for applicants with unfunded approvals who would like to receive an apportionment following an anticipated spring 2026 bond sale. And that application priority funding filing round will close on December 11th. We also have several regulations recently approved by the board that are now in effect following approval of the Office of Administrative Law, specifically regulations effective September 8th regarding state and local matching shares and new supplemental grants for 75 years or older buildings, minimum essential facilities, and transitional kindergarten classrooms. Regulations became effective on October 20th regarding natural disaster assistance. Finally, the Office of State Audits and Evaluations, or OSAE, is currently conducting an audit of board programs funded by Proposition 51 and general fund appropriations to the school facility program from recent budget acts. OSAE periodically audits the board's programs as a standard practice intended to ensure compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Staff will provide an update to the board upon the conclusion of the audit. And our next scheduled State Allocation Board meeting is scheduled on Wednesday, December 3rd. I'm pleased to address any questions.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is there any comments or questions from the board members on the executive officer statement?
No.
Seeing none. Are there any public comments on the executive officer statement? All right, seeing none. This is not an action item, so we will go ahead and move on to the next item, which is our consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be pulled or addressed from members of the board? Okay.
No.
Are there any comments or questions on the consent agenda? Okay. Are there any public comments? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve?
Approved by Director Lasso. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr.
second.
Morales. Thank you. Secretary, will you call the roll?
Certainly. Senator Perez?
Aye.
Perez, aye. Senator Choi?
Aye.
Choi, aye. Juan Morales?
Aye.
Morales, aye. Jeremy Smith?
Aye.
Smith, aye. Anna Lasso?
Aye.
Lasso, aye. Michelle Peralt?
Aye.
Peralt, aye. That motion carries.
Thank you. Before we continue, I'd like to propose that we're going to take up the action items that require our board approval before we proceed with financial reports and then the reports, discussion, and information items, since those do not require a vote. Are there any objections from the board on that reordering?
No.
Okay. Ms. Kirk, if you please proceed with the first of our action items on priority funding construction apportionments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This action item, with the board's approval, would convert unfunded approvals into the first apportionments from Proposition 2, following a successful bond sale from the State Treasurer's Office last month. And the item totals $652.8 million for 143 projects across 74 school districts. I'd also like to note one correction. If the board approves the priority funding apportionments in this item, staff has identified one needed correction to South Pasadena Unified's funding item on stamped page 247 of the agenda for application number 50/65029-00-008. Staff recommends the board approves an apportionment of $618,313 and an increase of $31,694 to the district contribution. This is to correct the amount of the district's small size project grant that was previously miscalculated. With board approval, staff would place a corrected funding shell in the final approved board agenda to be posted to the website following this meeting. I'm pleased to address any questions on this item.
Thank you so much. Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, the only comment I'd like to make is to thank the staff. This is a lot of money that we are moving out the door and into the hands of districts who have been waiting for this funding apportionment. And it was done in a very speedy manner after the passage of the proposition. So just a thank you to staff for all the hard work and moving forward the funding as quickly as possible. So with that, are there any public comments on this item? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion on the action item on priority funding apportionments inclusive of the correction to the funding shell for South Pasadena Unified as specified by Ms. Kirk? Approved by Mr. Morales, or moved by Mr. Morales. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Senator Perez. If we could, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Perez?
Aye.
Perez, aye. Senator Choi?
Aye.
Choi, aye. Juan Morales? Aye. Juan Morales?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Morales, aye. Jeremy Smith?
Aye.
Smith, aye. Anna Lasso?
Aye.
Lasso, aye. Michelle Peralt?
Aye.
Peralt, aye, and that motion carries.
Thank you so much. We'll go ahead now and move on to our second action item, which are proposed regulatory amendments to the facility hardship and seismic mitigation programs. Ms. Kirk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In part, the proposed amendments in this item implement changes resulting from Proposition 2. Additional changes are proposed to clarify and standardize the regulations. Notable amendments include implementation of Proposition 2 provisions that provide modernization funding for seismic mitigation program rehabilitation projects for applications received on or after October 31st, 2024. Additionally, amendments are proposed that are not related to Proposition 2 to better align the regulations with industry standards, as well as to provide greater clarity regarding asbestos mitigation projects and eligibility for facility hardship funding. Staff recommends that the board adopt the proposed amendments to the school facility program regulations shown on Attachment B, that the board adopt the proposed amendments to the facility hardship cost estimate and application for funding shown on Attachments C and D, respectively, and that the board authorize us to file the proposed regulatory amendments with the Office of Administrative Law and to make these regulations permanent. I'm pleased to address any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any comments or questions from the board on this item? Seeing none. Are there any public comments? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Moved by Senator Choi, seconded by Mr. Smith. If we could please have a roll call.
Yes. Senator Perez?
Aye.
Perez, aye. Senator Choi?
Aye.
Choi, aye. Juan Morales?
Aye.
Morales, aye. Jeremy Smith?
Aye.
Smith, aye. Ana Lasso?
Aye.
Lasso, aye. Michelle Peralt?
Aye.
Peralt, aye, and that motion does carry.
Thank you so much. Moving on, our next item of business is the financial reports. The reports can be found within your board packet on pages 193 to 209. Are there any comments or questions from the board on the financial reports? Seeing none, are there any public comments? Seeing none. This is not an action item, so we'll move on. And then our next item is our reports, discussion, and information items, which can be found on, 509 to 557. If there are any comments or questions from the board? No. Seeing none. Any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none. Also not a action item. With that, are there any other final public comments on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will adjourn at 3:19. Thank you.
Oh, that's easy one.